at Pittsburgh's North Park on a beautiful weather early March day, and today I'm going to talk about these guys, trekking poles. Not these ones in particular, just trekking poles in general. And I came up with 35 reasons why you should use trekking poles. I understand they're not for everybody, but I think I have a pretty convincing list here, which I will be using paper notes since I don't have a teleprompter. Just starting from number 1, trekking poles make downhill so much easier. You can put your weight on them as you're going down the hill to kind of slow yourself down, so that's very helpful that way. Number 2, the exact opposite. You use them to push yourself up the hill. You're using your upper body to help push yourself up the hill, so that's very helpful. Number 3 kind of goes along with the first 2. It saves on your knees. I got a bad knee, and it really takes a lot of pressure off your knees. They almost act as like a second pair of legs. Number 4, pretty obvious one, knocking down spider webs. As long as you can see the spider webs, sometimes the sun hits them enough so that you can see the spider webs. Just knock the spider webs down, so that's a useful thing. All right, number 5, bushwhacking. Sometimes you just got to get through some woods where there's not a path, and you're just chopping down what you can with the poles that are in your hands. Number 6, knocking snow off of low-hanging limbs. This just happened recently, where the heavy snow will build up on the limbs and weight them down over top of the trail. Well, as you're walking, you just knock the snow off, and the branch will bounce back up out of your way. Number 7, this applies to hammockers. I like to do what's called porch mode with my tarp. I use my poles. That's why this one is probably, the cork is probably worn off from me using porch mode. But you just put these out and use them to put your tarp in porch mode. Number 8, if you're a tenter instead of a hammocker. A lot of tents now are trekking pole tents where they're not freestanding tents. You use the trekking pole as the upper support for your trekking pole tent. Number 9, I use this one a lot. I use it to measure the distance between trees for my hammock. I used to do 7 paces between trees, but I like to just have the poles in my arms, stick them out, and just it's much quicker that way to find perfectly distanced trees. If the trees are too short, I won't be able to fit my tarp in there, so that gives me a good estimate of tree distance. All right, number 10, balancing as you're going across logs. Sometimes you have a log you have to walk across, and you just are using one of these on either side of you to keep yourself balanced. Number 11, another similar one, balancing as you're going across water crossings. There could be algae-covered rocks under the water, a lot of slippery stuff under the water, so you're using your poles to keep your balance, and they've saved me plenty of times. Number 12, testing the mud depth. Pretty obvious if you're in a muddy section, you don't want to sink up to your top of your ankles in mud, so you test the depth of the mud before you put your foot down. Number 13, the same thing, is testing the depth of the snow before you step into it. Number 14, testing for rocks. This happened recently to me at Dolly Sods on the Dobbin Grade Trail, where it was extremely muddy and wet, so we were trying to find some rocks to step on, but the rocks were hidden under the mud, so just poking around trying to find some rocks to step on instead of sinking up to your shin in mud. Number 15 is testing for rock stability. Before you step on the rock, a lot of rocks can be not too stable, so you just kind of test the rock to see if it's a loose rock before you step on it and twist your ankle. Number 16, encouraging snakes off the trail. I've used this before. If there's a snake on the trail, I kind of use this as a snake handler stick and kind of gently encourage the snake to move off the trail. Number 17, still dealing with wildlife. This doesn't happen very often, but there was a bee that would not leave me alone one time. I managed to Mickey Mantle that bee right out of midair. Pretty good shot. Number 18, something I hope I never have to use this for, but you could use it as a leg splint. Say you break a leg bone, don't want that to happen. But you could, tie these, fold it up, and use some shock cord to tie it to your leg as a temporary splint. Number 19, estimating tree diameter. I just only use this if I wanted to show somebody how giant a hemlock tree was or something. I'll just hold this up against the tree, take a picture of it like that. Since these are 130 centimeters, I have them set up. Number 20, this is something that A lot of people use this for, I don't, but you can use it to dig a cat hole. Some people use rocks and sticks. I use just a regular deuce of spades trowel. And that, but you could use one of these if you had to. Number 21, drawing a map in the dirt. If you're with a group and you want to just draw something out in the dirt, just to kind of show which directions you're going, you could do that. Now, a lot of these things you could use, you could just pick up a stick in the woods and use. But I got the poles in my hand all the time, I might as well just use them. Number 22, the same basic idea is leaving turn directions in the dirt. If I'm hiking ahead of other people and I come to a turn, or if I want to let somebody know which direction I went off the trail, or if I'm at a Y in the trail, I want to leave them directions of which way I went, so I'll just scratch out in the dirt an arrow, letting them know which way I went. Sometimes I'll just lay sticks on the ground in the shape of an arrow too. Number 23, another thing, just scratching out messages in the dirt. I'll just write out a quick message in the dirt and make it pretty obvious, clear out all the leaves around it, and so somebody coming behind me can read the message. Maybe I'll just let them know, something about the trail conditions or whatever. Number 24, if I'm on level ground, I'm not pushing uphill, I'm not slowing myself down on a downhill, they just kind of creates a rhythm for me. I just like that rhythm when I'm hiking. Number 25, it helps when you're on ice. Even though when I'm in icy conditions, I'll have micro spikes or something on my shoes. Just something extra touching the ground. These will dig into the ice, give you some more stability on icy surfaces. Number 26, the same thing applies when you're in mud. They will just help you from slipping too much. Number 27, test the solidity of the ice before you step on it. Just take your pole and stab the ice. If the pole breaks through, you don't want to put your foot in that. If it seems pretty sturdy, then you could put some weight on it, you can step on that ice. Number 28, this is kind of lazy, but I'll use this to pick stuff up if I drop it, rather than bending down, or if you bend over, stuff will fall out of your pack sometimes. If I drop one of my hiking poles on the ground, it has this strap, I'll just use the pole that's in my hand to pick up the pole without having to bend down. Pretty lazy. Number 29, this is probably the most important. I should have put this at number 1. I can't count how many times the poles have saved me from falling. A trip over a root or something. Whatever, there's so many times, slipping in mud, slipping on a water crossing, they'll save you countless times. Number 30, if you have micro spikes on your shoes, or even gaiters that have the straps going underneath, snow and ice will build up on the bottom of your shoes, and you just knock it off with your trekking pole that you already have in your hand. Number 31, clicking them together as a noisemaker. This is a great one. If I'm in bear territory and I'm in a thick rhododendron tunnel area, I don't want to come around a bend and come up to a bear that has no option rather than to back up or come toward me. So in sections like that, I'm just clicking these sticks together, making noise, to let anything else that can't see me, let them know I'm coming. Also a good idea to let other hikers know that you're coming up behind them. You don't want to come up right behind somebody and scare the crap out of them. Or if there's somebody coming toward you from the other direction, just to let them know if they haven't seen me yet, I'll just click my sticks together and make noise. And another good thing is if they have dogs, to let them know to get that dog on a leash, because a lot of people don't have their dogs on a leash. So that's that. Number 32, if you're stepping over a log, a lot of times, well, I shouldn't say a lot of times, but snakes can be hiding under that log. And you don't want to step over that log and then your foot is right next to a snake. So I will just reach across the log and just tap on the other side of the log before I step over. All right, number 33 is self-defense. These are already in your hand. You don't have to grab for bear spray. You don't have to grab for a pocket knife or whatever. Not that I've ever had any issue where I've needed to do this. 99.9% of hikers are cool. Don't have to worry about them. The only bear that I've ever seen ran away. There's a great story that Andrew Skarka told. Andrew Skarka, if you don't know, Skurka, he was like National Geographic Explorer of the Year or something, and he's hiked like tens of thousands of miles. So he had this story where he was up in Alaska. He got charged by a grizzly bear, and it happened so fast he didn't even have time to reach for his bear spray. All he had his trekking pole in his hand. He threw the trekking pole at the grizzly, and the grizzly bear got scared and ran away. So that's another great reason to do it. But yeah, check out Andrew Skarka's story, because there's more to it than that. I'll just let him tell the rest of the story because it's great. Number 34 is use this as a selfie stick. You know, somebody that's filming. I don't do this, but they make adapters that you can put on the end of your pole. I don't know. I've never used one. I think they go on this end of the pole, but you can use it as a selfie stick. And number 35, holding back brush or briars, or if you're in Pittsburgh, jaggers, you're going to hold that stuff back out of your way as you pass it, rather than tearing up whatever you're wearing or your pack or any of your gear. Just hold it back out of your way as you pass. So that's my list of 35 reasons why you should use trekking poles if you're hiking or backpacking. I'm sure there's things I've missed, so if you can think of anything else, go ahead and drop it in the comments below, and thanks for watching.